Might as well cancel my
You think you got some that aren't gonna wanna wear it? You think you got some that aren't gonna wanna wear it?
We're live streaming now. Everybody on the church.
You think you got some that aren't gonna wear it?
Ourselves delayed by.
They should be able to. Just make sure when you speak, project, especially with masks inside of this room. That way our public can hear us.
All right, folks, you want to join me? Heavenly Father, we come to you again this evening anxious to get a new year started, new school year started. We understand that we'll take a great deal of patience, of wisdom, and guidance. We ask you at this time for all three so that we may turn out the business of the school and remember that we are here for the main reason to educate children and that is our goal. And these things we ask in Christ's name. Amen. Where's that? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, call the meeting of Rock-Hawcreek School Board to order. 7:03, July 21st. First thing, approval of the June 2nd, 2020 minutes.
I second it.
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Next, public comment. Big group, big crowd. Number 5, payroll and vendor claims. Missy.
We have claims of 420 to 496 and payroll dates of June 5th, June 19th, July 2nd, and July 17th.
Gentlemen,
Move to approve payroll and vendor claims as presented. Second.
motion and a second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to item number 6, which is personnel. Mr. Price.
Yes, that'll be the bulk of our agenda tonight is personnel items. And we'll talk more at the end of the meeting about a potential meeting before school starts to catch anything last minute. I think that'll probably be needed, but we'll start here with personnel. Principal Justin Poe would like to move Rick Gardner from an instructional classroom assistant to music assistant. Mr. Gardner subbed in music for the last 9 weeks of the 18-19 school year and did a great job for us. Mr. President, I recommend the board approve Rick Gardner as music assistant for the 2021 school year.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the recommendation of Rick Gardner as music assistant.
Second. A motion and a second, any discussion?
I might just add that Mr. Gardner is also going to be helping us do some of our screening checks in the morning, possibly on the bus or in the building, wherever we.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, Dr. Winton is recommending the following extracurricular positions, junior high cross country, and that is Melissa Newton. I recommend the board approve as presented.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, Principal Dr. Winton is recommending Madison Owens to fill Miss Katie Rector's English maternity position for the first semester here for the 2021 school year. I recommend this hire.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the recommendation of Madison Owens as the teacher.
Second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Hope Elementary Teaching Assistant Kelly Miller has submitted her letter of resignation effective immediately. She will, however, continue to be a bus driver for the corporation. Mr. President, I recommend the board approve her resignation as the teaching assistant at Hope Elementary.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. Next up, we have Hauser English teacher Stacy Hardy has submitted her letter of resignation effective at the conclusion of her 2019-20 contract. Mr. President, I recommend the board approve Stacy Hardy's resignation as presented.
Motion to approve Stacy Harvey's resignation as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Was there any discussion with her about coming back after the virus subsided?
We did have a brief discussion. She'd asked if we happen to have any virtual teaching options or any need in the future. She would love to be considered to come back. She said she may be doing other things at the time, but she would appreciate reaching out if the need arose.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Principal Poe is recommending the hire of Ivana Howard as an instructional assistant in the Essential Skills classroom at Hope Elementary. I recommend that we hire Ivana Howard as instructional assistant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, Principal Poe is also recommending Linda Berger as athletic director at Hope Elementary for the 2021 school year. I recommend this approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Principal Poe is also recommending Ken Hedrick as the Imagination Destination Coach at Hope Elementary. Mr. President, I recommend we approve Ken Hedrick for this position.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, Principal Poe is recommending Bridget Burnett for the 6th grade girls basketball coach at Hope Elementary. Mr. President, I recommend that we approve Mrs. Poe's recommendation.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the recommendation for the basketball position.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. President, I recommend the board approve Peyton Ewing as an elementary spell bowl coach.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, and finally, on our personnel report, we have Hauser special education teacher Sabrina Rivera has submitted her letter of resignation effective at the conclusion of her 1920 contract. Mr. President, I recommend that we approve Sabrina's resignation as presented. She has taken other opportunities up north in Indiana and will be moving out of this area. So, we hate to see her go.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the resignation of Sabrina Rivera.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. That brings us to superintendent's report. We'll start with the fund report from Misty.
Okay, for the month of May, the month-to-date revenue was $553,761.13. The expenses were $504,391.62, which brings the year-to-date revenue to $3,234,978.14, and the expenses to $3,496,054.61, with a balance of $3,914,604.94. The net appropriation is $9,482,504. Year-to-date expense is $3,496,54.61. The unexpended balance is $5,986,449.39, and the percent encumbered is 36.87.
Any questions, gentlemen?
I might just note on this fund report that this is an update from May's report. We're also working on, you'll notice there the operation fund revenues is something we are still gathering some of those tax revenues that we normally get in June. Those were delayed. So Jeff and Missy and I will be talking about that very soon, bringing an update on what those look like. But we had brief talks about some tax anticipation warrants in case we were too delayed. But I don't think the numbers are coming back in our favor, maybe based off of our cash balances. So we'll continue to monitor that and get back with you. Thank you, Missy. Next up, we have every year we rebond the following positions to the Rock-Hawcreek School Corporation. You have them listed here in your packet. That is business manager Jeff Cleland, business manager Missy Dempsey, amounts there beside, 100,000 for Jeff, 40 for Missy. Hope Elementary Secretary Shirley Wiseman for 40. Hauser Secretary Heather Miller for 40. Food Service Manager Carla and the Director Shannon both at 40. Mr. President, I recommend the board approve these bonds and these positions as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, quick question on the differentiation between the two business managers and the amount.
Yeah, I'll let Missy weigh in on that too, but I'm going to say that this is what we've done in the past, and we're still completing a transition between the two. I think they felt that it was probably wise to keep the amounts the same until we make a full transition. Is that fair?
That's correct.
Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
For this last point, you all have a copy of our reentry plan in front of you. I'm going to take one over here to our guest tonight. And I will, for the record, just mention that this plan, the plan on the website is able to be accessed off of our district webpage for those following along, maybe at home. This has been submitted to our media sources and outlets as well. The plan that you have tonight in front of you has a few minor changes, and I will go over those. Those are not reflected on the website tonight. I will wait to update that to wait upon possible approval of this plan. Just really quickly, this plan is a product of a lot of hard work and effort from a lot of individuals, including our administrative team, our reentry team, which included a lot of officials across Bartholomew County. We worked closely with the Bartholomew County Health Department, officials from BCSC, our state health department. Dr. Box was very generous of her time, able to work with our Superintendents Association, and along with our pediatrician groups in the area. So just want to give a big shout out and thanks to all the people that helped put this together. Our Teachers Association has been fantastic to work with throughout this. We have been at the Zoom table for several different meetings throughout, just to talk about concerns and issues concerning reopening. So I feel very fortunate that we've had a very team approach to this, very proactive to get something out that we feel that we can manage. There's still a lot of challenges to come. There's still a lot of pieces that are not completely answered, but this plan lays out how we need to move forward. So as you go through the plan, you'll notice that we did give a plan overview. The enrollment option page, number 4, we talked about wanting to be flexible as possible with our families. We know they're still being impacted by COVID in many different ways, and we know that people need to make a tough choice on whether to send their child to school or their children to school traditionally or online. And we felt it was very important to give that option to them. I'll share with you right now, we're about 50% through the enrollment process, and with the numbers looking right now at about 9 to 10% of those 50% that have enrolled are choosing online. Staying very consistent with the early predictions that we made when we sent out a survey early June, we were looking at about 85% of our families saying they were ready to come back in person. And right now we're projecting that we're going to have somewhere between 10 and 15% take the online option. We have sent out intent surveys as well, and that's kind of confirming those numbers for us. We're also going to get very specific in that. Eventually, we'll be able to tell you exactly which kids and which grades are going to be virtual, so we can make a better plan with our teachers. Recognizing symptoms, the health protocols, this is a difficult piece, but this is one that really comes from our health department all the way from the state down, even the federal CDC level. These are the symptoms that are listed on their website. We are following their recommendation guidelines. That also includes symptoms. The exclusion, possible exclusion from school, that's a piece we're still working on, getting guidance from our local health officials on just how to navigate that. We obviously want to keep our schools as safe as possible, and if anybody is remotely feeling ill or showing any of these symptoms, we're going to ask them to stay home. And I know that that may not be ideal for all parents, so we do, if we're going to fight this and stop the spread, we need everybody's help and cooperation. So that's what we're going to message we're going to be sending to our parents. It's, you know, if you're feeling bad, you need to stay home. Same thing with our employees. So that kind of outlines what happens and how you get back to school and what we need to do that. Screenings, we've talked about it. We will have handhelds all throughout the building. These digital no-touch thermometers will be used on buses to scan bus riders before they come on. Anybody that's entering the building, we're going to limit the number of entry points, and they will be scanned before they come in. So temperatures will be taken, and a quick screening will be done. Initially, the first few days, it may take a little longer to ask kids how they're feeling, if they have any of these symptoms. Once the kids know the symptoms, we feel it'll be very much every day it'll be, has anything changed? Have you had any of these major symptoms? And that'll be the quick screening that we do. We're also going to educate and ask parents to do those screenings at home, especially if you have a bus rider and you leave prior to your student getting on the bus. We're going to be checking, so it's very important that the parents understand that they need to check before the kid gets on the bus.
Are you actually going to go through these symptoms when they get here?
Not every, there'll be a quick check sheet with a few questions that will, I think that the CDC and the Pediatrician Association has established 3 main symptoms that most people who have had COVID have had. And so I think it will be probably narrowed down to those 3 symptoms we will ask as we're checking the temperature.
Is it similar to the one they're doing when they're bringing them in for sports right now?
It's very
Because it takes about 15 seconds, maybe 10 to do each one of them.
Yeah, there won't be any paperwork assigned. There's not going to be any documentation to keep track of, because basically what we're doing is we're checking everybody that comes in the building. We're asking all the adults to self-screen and check before they come in. So essentially, everybody will be checked. We won't be writing down and documenting who was checked, because everybody gets it. That's how we're going to proceed with that. Now, obviously, if somebody has a symptom, it has to be taken to the nurse's office for evaluation. We will be documenting those cases.
Which rate are you using?
Well, I'll have to get that for you. I don't have it in front of me, but it was, I believe, if I look at that list, the shortness of breath, the fever, and I can't tell you the third one. Maybe it was nausea. There was 3 main ones that the most most have tested positive for COVID. Just I can't tell you, out of that list, I know the two.
Also, smell and taste is very,
Well, we're gonna work on that, a quick screening guide that we can use very quickly, not quick enough. The last thing we wanna do is have a line of students gathering to be tested. We wanna get them as quickly as we can. When you look at page, again, attendance, this is part of the plan that also may need to be changed. We all agree, and I say that the association also agrees with the concept. We currently have an incentive stipend that we give through our contract for teachers that have perfect attendance. But I think it's very difficult to try to promote perfect attendance when you're also saying, stay home if you're sick, and have that abundance of caution. So that's our intent to suspend this. The association agrees with it. The question is, since we have a contract, we need to find out legally how that can be done. Whether we have to modify that in some way or make some type of a memorandum of understanding, and we have to get FRHC's approval on any of that. So, Scott, if you have any insight on that one, I'll probably be calling you eventually about the contract. Just a few notes about immunizations and where that's at. Preventing the spread. This is the most important piece of the education that we want to do with our students, our staff, and our community. Because really, it's all of our responsibilities to help stop the spread of this and contain it. We really believe that we have in here 3 real strategies to do that we can do in school. And the first one we focused on, and this goes beyond the screening piece. This is what we do once we're here, is the social distancing. Our classrooms, we have a benefit of having one campus, K-12. We have some open spaces, much like this room here will be used for a classroom during the year. We can really social distance in this space for meetings such as this. We also, in each classroom, have got the roster numbers to a point where we can have about 20 students in each classroom and still have them 6 feet apart. We've removed all the what we consider non-essential furnishings, bookcases that aren't necessarily they're a luxury or they're nice to have when you're teaching, but if we can have them somewhere else so we can spread kids out, we'll do that. So that's a big piece of that. So we feel if we can maintain social distancing as much as possible, then we can help mitigate the spread. Frequent hand washing. Hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. That's what we've heard all along through this. That's the most important piece. And we've given some examples of when kids will hand wash. The fortunate part of our elementary classrooms, many of those classrooms have sinks in the classroom. So there's opportunities there for students to wash their hands, taking turns to do that. We will also have hand sanitizer in every room. We are installing pumps for that purpose in each room, and we have stations throughout our common areas. And 25 of those stands like the one by the door that we can set up and have available for people when they come in and out of the door. So when there's not a sink and water close by our restroom, we're going to promote using the hand sanitizer. Then the personal protective equipment. This one has taken the most conversation over the summer to get to. And you'll see here where this was one of the changes even on this document, updated document. The word has been changed in situations where social distancing of 6 feet or more cannot be maintained, students and staff will be required to wear the facial covering. This word was expected in the last draft. We've changed that. If you remember correctly, it went from highly recommended or strongly recommended to expected, and now the word is required. If anybody heard from Dr. Kowalski last night at the CFC meeting, it's very likely that we will have public areas that are inside will probably be mandated at some point in the future. That was his comment in the public session last night. He said we're working towards that. We don't know what that would look like, and we don't know if it will be required at all times, or if this language here where it says when social distancing is able to be used. So we will continue to get their guidance and see what they say about this part of the plan. As of this date, the health department has said that we are going to do this. Moving through, we talked about visitors not allowing, limiting to only essential visitors, staffing. We're going to train everybody, including our students, on proper ways to use a mask, to wear a mask, and to use your PPE. I'm going to back up again on the mask. It's not just masks. We are allowing face covering. So if a student requests a shield, maybe that's better for some of our younger kids or kids with certain situations, they want a face shield. We do have those available as well. Some parents have asked about other types of coverings, and the runners a lot of times will wear a type of a neck covering that can be pulled up. Those are acceptable too from the CDC guidelines. So it's not just the masks that we will provide; they could also have their own masks. We will have signage throughout the building, and then transportation. In order to be eligible to ride a school bus, there will be the mask will be required at that time as well. The buses are very hard to social distance. We're going to do our best, but the bus transportation will be available, and we will be screening before that. Other considerations: food service. The cafeteria will remain open. Yes.
On the buses, it says they'll be disinfected. How and with what?
We have two different methods right now, since the routes run twice a day for most of our routes. In the morning, when they're offloaded, the buses will be disinfected. We have a spray, disinfectant, the backpack sprayer, that makes it very easy to spray down all the seats and all the surfaces, and it has a dry time. The time between our next route, we have adequate time to do that. If we run out of the capacity to have personnel spray the buses individually, because that does take some time, we also have purchased a number of foggers that you basically open the can, sit in the middle of the bus, and the fog disinfects the bus and does not leave a residue on the bus. So we've tested those several times. And we're going to do a combination of those two things. And part of the reason we're not doing the same thing every time is strictly financial. One costs more than the other, and those foggers, they're only going to last so long before we have to replenish those supplies. So we're going to try to offset it with some regular cleaning. That'll be done after the morning route, and then before, so the kids will load on the clean bus in the afternoon, and then they'll be cleaned that night. So twice a day, the buses.
Will parents be able to know what is in them, what chemicals are in them?
We can post something on our transportation page to what that is. And again, we're using the CDC recommended cleaning products. Samples are actually back here of some of the products, and you probably can look at the fogger before you read. It's back here on the table. So those are what the CDC and our cleaning supplier has said. This is, we have to look at kill times and all that for consideration as well. All right, food service. The only thing I added here was cash payments will not be accepted at the registers. Everybody's going to need to load onto their student accounts. We're not going to be able to cash payments in the lunchrooms. We will have hot and cold lunch items, choices, and we're going to separate those lines and spread out as much as possible. Health clinic considerations. There was an addition here that the health department wanted us to make sure that we clearly stated that nebulizers cannot be used in schools. I know we have several students that have this treatment done here. Those cannot be used within school building. So anybody who has previously had this treatment, they're encouraged to do it at home, and then they may need to use an inhaler while they're here rather than playground and recess. We do plan to have playgrounds open. This is one, we've got a lot of talk around this topic. How do we safely clean playgrounds and disinfect? Really, our biggest strategy here with playgrounds is going to be hand washing. Kids need to wash their hands before they go to recess and when they come back in from recess. We are confident that when they're out playing in the open air, we've been told by the health officials that that is a very unlikely place for them to get the virus. So we are saying the benefits of recess far outweigh the chances that they can get the virus. With that being said, we are going to disinfect our playground each day, at least once a day, maybe twice a day. It will not be between each group going out there. We don't have the capacity for that. But those backpack sprayers, we will be able to spray down and let that product sit and disinfect. That's something I don't know that we've done in the past with disinfect earlier. So that's a new one for us, and I think the practice will probably continue.
So when they go out to recess, they're outdoors, what about these?
They will not be required to wear a mask during recess.
Well, I assume what I wanted to check.
Since they're outside, and the idea there, they would be able to social distance. Now, realistically, when the kids out playing on the playground, are they always going to stay 6 feet apart? No, but that definition of close contact from the CDC says they need to be within contact with someone within 6 feet for more than 15 minutes at a time. Well, it's also very unlikely that they're going to be within 6 feet of somebody for 15 minutes straight. They're going to be going to kids and moving around. So again, that's our answer right now for recess. We're going to continue to see what other corporations are doing, have discussions. But right now, we feel that it's important for our kids to get recess. Special education, again, we're going to try to hold conferences via Zoom and remotely as much as possible, but all special ed law stays in effect. Nothing has changed there. Water fountains, we have been advised that we need to shut down all water fountains, so we're not encouraging a shared space that people come to for the drinking. We will have water available at breakfast and lunch, and we are looking for other ways to for students that maybe won't have that option in the morning for purchase. If we can get some free water for them to have in school. We're also going to encourage parents to send their kids with water. Lockers, all along you've known, we've said from the beginning that we thought that we needed to limit or not allow the use of lockers at Howard and junior high school. It makes it very difficult to social distance, so we are not assigning lockers this year. The backpack dimensions are in there. I think Dr. Wheaton's done a nice job of explaining this to parents and getting them what they need. Essentially, our students really need their iPads, maybe a notebook or two and some folders, maybe novels and writing, because there's not a heavy book load any longer because of our iPads. So we're trying to help both teachers and parents understand that there's not going to be, shouldn't be a great deal of things they need to lug around in the backpack.
What about sporting equipment and coats?
Coats in the wintertime, we're going to cross that bridge when we get there. We do think we will make arrangements. Right now, a lot of times our athletes, the locker room, I'll tell you, is used not as much as we would like in a normal year. Most of the time, the backpacks are left in an office or a teacher's classroom, or they become arrangements that are too large to put in a normal size locker anyway. So I don't know that that's as much of an issue for us, that there will be a plan in place for a location that they be secure, and maybe a way that they can be accessed without having kids congregated in an area. Tyler Phillips, our athletic director, and Dr. Whitaker, working on that high school side for sure. You've got a list here of what we anticipate doing for increased capacity, how we're going to clean. We've already hired additional staff to meet the needs of that, and move staff around, so I feel confident that we're going to be able to keep our building safe and clean. And the last page, the extracurricular, we've been doing it through July. This link here on our document online takes them to the athletic site with Tyler. Mr. Phillips will update any new changes to that. The most recent guidance from the IHSA talks about kids that are virtual and what their status could be here at the school as far as being able to take the virtual. Yeah, put that into our plan. We're working on, and I've had several conversations with the board members to move the speed on that, and we anticipate trying to make a decision before our next board meeting and get that out maybe sooner than that. So that's all I have on the reopening plan as it is. I know that we went over this a few times in different work session. I talked to you individually. So that was a lot, a repeat, but I felt like it was important to get the record. Make sure anybody who had questions could express those. Again, the steps we've taken, we've had a question and answer session with teachers. Even yet today, we did that earlier this morning. So I think people are well informed, for making decisions about sending their kids back, and we're excited to get them back in the building. So, what questions do you have for me about the plan before you, I guess, before I make a recommendation to you?
One thing I want to say that it's not necessarily a question. This is, first of all, thank you to the administration and staff for working through this. This is not easy. CDC, county, everybody changes this stuff about, it seems like every other day. It's not been as simple as flip a switch and it happens. So thank you. The other thing is to the parents and the community, if anybody is watching, attitude towards this says a lot. Please, I understand that there's a lot of hot button issues here. There's a lot of topics that people have problems with. People have politicized this a lot. For your children's sake, please, please, please try to keep a positive attitude toward what we're asking them and you to do. Help us out. This is a team effort, and the only way it's going to work is if we do approach it as a team. So please work with us, be patient with the administration and the staff, understanding that things can change and very likely will change. It was on the Republic's webpage today that the county is looking at making masks mandatory anytime you're indoors. If that's the case, that overrules what we have put in place here, if I understand it right. So that means things can and will change. So please, as I said before, patience and understanding, and let's support each other through this, and we will get through.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the reentry plan for Hauser Junior Senior High School at Polk Valley District for 2021 with modifications as the administration sees fit in the future.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I'd like to add a little bit to what Pat said. I wanted to commend the two building principals, the videos that they put out. I talked to several parents that felt that it was very informative, answered a lot of questions, and kind of helped ease their concerns over reentry.
Anyone else? We'll move on to a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right. Thank you all. Becky, if you have more questions, I'll be happy to talk about the
Okay, it's not about this, it's about that, something different.
Okay, perfect. Finally, I guess we're through that other business. I'm just going to add on here. I do think with the changing nature of this and possible staffing needs, depending on the way enrollment goes and the last minute changes we may have, I'm going to recommend that we have a board meeting before school starts. The actual first school day is August the 4th, which is a Tuesday. That would be that'd be 2 weeks from now. When we normally would have a board meeting, I'm going to ask that maybe that Monday, the 3rd, you meet instead, so we can catch anything before school actually. So let me know what your availability is there, and we can make a motion to have a board meeting on Monday, the 3rd, if you guys are available. That's my recommendation. If you guys want, your pleasure.
7 p.m.
We'll do 7 p.m. Yeah.
So moved. Second.
Have a motion and a second to have a board meeting on August 3rd at 7 p.m. Any discussions? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Anything else for other business? We have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion and second. All those in favor? Aye. And we are adjourned. Thank you, folks.
You. Remember, don't run away, we've got a lot of signatures here in person. Sometimes, so if you're gonna take advantage of it,
I want to look at this stuff right here, because I have somebody at the church is actually asking for what we're using, so they can maybe use it for preschool.
Good job.
And don't stack them on top of each other, all the way through. Okay.
First name up front. No fans.
it was, maybe Chicago.